Ian Huntley has been attacked inside of HMP Franklin and he's in a critical condition. Now I'll just wait until a few more people join in before I get into the nitty-gritty. Now, I've been inundated with messages, but I did actually find this out before any of the mainstream media outlets were reporting on it, more so the ones online. And the one that someone did send us initially was the Daily Mirror, I believe it was. But like I said before, any of this was on the or in the headlines or shared across any of the online articles, I had an email from a source inside of HMP Franklin. I'm not going to reveal the source, obviously, but they told us that this had definitely took place. But again, when I found out about it, I got the email before anything was broadcast on any of the media outlets. But again, I was a little bit dubious because I was thinking, although I know this is a credible source, I don't want to come straight on talking about it like this to then find out it was mistaken, it was somebody else. But as soon as I started seeing it popping up all over, I was getting inundated with messages, people sending us messages saying, is this true? Sending us clippings of the articles. I put my own article on my Facebook page. That's where you hear about all the news and stuff first. And I did say on my Facebook page that I was going to come on and do a live. So let us just add this banner at the page. Huntley attacked and critical. So 9 a.m. this morning, I just have to unlock. The report that I was told before it came out online was that he'd been sliced and then stabbed, and he was bleeding profusely. He was immediately called for the air ambulance, and he was airlifted to hospital, and he's now situated, I believe, in the RVI at Newcastle. And we don't know what's happening since he's been took out of the prison, but I do believe he's had the Ian Watkins treatment. Now, I'm sure everybody who's watching is well aware of who Ian Huntley is, but for the new subscribers and the younger ones who are going to be watching this, if they're not watching now, then after I've done the live, it will be uploaded later, well, as soon as the live is finished. But Ian Huntley murdered 10-year-olds Holly Wells and Jessica Chapman. Those are two names that I'll never forget. And people who are around about my age, who are more so in 30s, 40s upwards, will remember this. This was one of the worst cases in UK history. It was absolutely soul-destroying, not just for the community in Soam and the family members, the whole of the UK. I was just a teenager at the time, and it's one of those cases when they were searching for them two 10-year-old girls, and you were dreading to hear the outcome of what had happened, because at the time when they were searching for the little girls, you knew that something bad had happened. Ian Huntley, the caretaker of the school, got those two little girls into his house and brutally murdered them. No one knows what went on before the murder as well, because he took the two bodies away, burnt them, disposed of them, and burnt them. He is an absolute fucking monster. And I told you last year, because 2025 was the year, got the piggy out, the year of the bacon bashes at the fucking finest. There was absolutely dozens and dozens. I don't even know the number, but I bet you there was fucking well over 50 bacons died last year. Few of them, but two of them we know were murdered. A lot more died under suspicious circumstances. They did try and cover some up, I believe, inside of Franklin, when 5 bacons died on the same wing within 2 weeks or within a week. And they're now trying to say it's down to natural causes. It's a cover-up. It was something to do with the spizzle, I believe. the spice inside of prison. But Ian Huntley committed these murders in 2002, and he was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum of 40 years. That horrid so-and-so, I can't fucking say what I really want to say about him, but you get the drill, people. You know exactly what I think of that man. He is absolute vermin. No one gives a shit what happens to him or whether he pulls through or not. Nobody even cares about this absolute piece of dirt. That's all we can call him, dirt. That's all he is. He's the worst of the worst. Now, when I was inside of HMP Franklin, Huntley was in, but he was in the healthcare department. The healthcare department has a wing for people who are needing round-the-clock treatment, round-the-clock care. It was mostly older, degenerate fucking bacons. So Huntley was safe on the hospital wing around these, because the hospital wing, some of them are dying, some of them, like I've just said, are older. So they thought, or they knew Huntley would be safe around them. So Huntley was kept on the healthcare wing for a number of years. But guess what, people? Not long after that, I believe it was 2007, 2008, round about then, or 2009, sorry, I believe. Round about 2009, Damien Fawkes, who was serving life for armed robbery, ended up on the hospital wing where Huntley was. He seen his chances and he took them, and he gave him one almighty stripe down the neck, trying to take his life. When he was on the floor, bleeding out profusely, he turned round and said to the screws, "Is he still breathing? Is he alive?" And for that, because he made that comment, he couldn't get away with saying it was a Section 18 grievous bodily harm. He got done with attempted murder and was issued with another life sentence. But he was sent down to Full Sutton after that, where he ended the life of another bacon. Hats off to Damien Fawkes. Like I say, he was in for armed robberies. He wasn't a bacon, but he gave Huntley a good a good bit of prison justice, where he thought he was saying the Grim Reaper was coming for him. But he survived that attack to get another one just like this. And if anyone can remember, when I covered the stories of Ian Watkins and Kyle Bevins, what did I say after Ian Watkins? I said there will be copycat attacks in the high security estate. I've done a video on Huntley because he was asking for extra protection because he was shitting himself. And obviously, there will be still family members that keep in touch with him. That'll be watching me channel, and they're updating the bacons, saying Ricky on Behind Bars TV says there's going to be copycat attacks in the high security estate. So all the bacons are absolutely shitting themselves. The majority aren't coming out the pads, more so in HMP Wakefield. And Ian Huntley was asking for extra protection. So Ian Huntley is situated on A Wing inside of HMP Franklin. Like I say, he was kept on the healthcare department for, I dare say it was over a decade, where he thought he was safe. But when they brought more high-profile bacons into HMP Franklin, that was why they started calling it Monster Mansion. Even though Wakefield Prison is the original Monster Mansion, they then called Franklin Prison Monster Mansion because it houses him, the highest fucking profile bacon in the country, or one of them, along with Levi Belfield. And I told you them two got quite pally. Levi was using Huntley as a fucking bitch because the source that told us about this was telling us what was going on inside of Franklin. Them two wrong'uns were going in the pot together during association. No one knows what was going on, but I believe Belfield was using Huntley as a bitch. And then you've got Wayne Cousins. You've got the Morgue Monster, which was David Fuller, and that is just to name a few. But what they've done, because they knew all of these were at risk of being attacked, they were the most high-profile Bacons. They housed them all together on A-Wing, and they handpicked which nonsense they were putting on there with them, because obviously the governors of the prison don't want, although they probably will, they probably despise them just as much as anybody else, but they can't have them being attacked on their watch for obvious reasons. They could lose their jobs. They're saying, why didn't he have proper care and fucking proper protection? So the governor decided, right, A-Wing is going to be for the most high-profile monsters, and they're going to handpick which Bacons they're putting on there with them. The ones who are elderly, the ones who are not violent as such against adults, only violent against little ones, because that's what type of cowardly so-and-sos they are. Can't use certain swear words on here because they'll flag it up and the live will get cut short. But they handpicked them because they knew what would happen. And like I said, after Ian Watkins, I said there's going to be copycat attacks up and down the system, because on these protection wings as well, there is lads of normal location, and it's probably one of those that's getting to them. Lads that are on normal location have getting drug problems inside the jail. They're on the smack, they're on the subbies, they're on the spice. They're getting debted up to death. They cannot pay the fucking bill. So they get on the bill, over bang up, which a lot of them done in Franklin. They got debted up. They got on the bill when everyone was locked up and said, get me on protection now. The screws will say to them, well, you need to give us names or whatever, or otherwise we're not putting you down. So they end up being fucking snitches and they get sent down there. But when these are down there, they've then got to go and live amongst all of these. And these are the ones that sometimes do attack these Bacons. But also, the majority of the time, these crimes, these murders that are committed inside of jail are actually other nonces and other Bacons that's done it. Because just after I'd left there as well, there was an inmate that was disemboweled, 2 prisoners who were in. One was in for killing elderly people who was still classed as a Bacon. I'm talking about people in the 80s. The other one was a rapist, I believe, and a murderer, but he hadn't done anything to little ones. So they got a hold of this nonce that had done things to little ones, because there was a hierarchy. They're thinking that they're better, even though they're all Bacons. They think because they haven't touched little ones, they're not as bad as them. So they plotted to get revenge and take some prison justice. And they took him in the pad, smashed him to pieces, choked him out, disemboweled him, pulled all of his insides out. They were going to eat his liver, but at the final moment, they decided not to. They went out on the landing, covered in claret, and said to the screws, there's one in here that will not be checking in for roll call tonight. But Ian Huntley got attacked at 9 a.m. this morning. As far as I know, he's been sliced and stabbed from the source that I was told by. Airlifted to hospital, and he's now fighting for his life in the RVI at Newcastle. So that is the latest, but I will keep you updated on anything more that I hear. And like I've said, I'm going to say again, the copycat attacks, I said this was going to happen. From the moment I said it, Kyle Bevins was then murdered. Then some more beasties were attacked, and it's going to keep happening. They are trying to integrate them with the normal location lads even more. The normal location lads don't want to be integrated with them. The Bacons don't want to be integrated for obvious reasons, because they're going to become under attack. But that's what they're trying to implement. So it's a win-win for the people who want to see the Bacons getting attacked, and it's a win-win for the Bacon bashers. Now then, people, now that I've told you the story, I told you I would come straight on. The reason why I've jumped on a live is because I wouldn't have had time to quickly do the video, talk about it, and then upload it, because sometimes when you do a video that's maybe 15, 20 minutes long, it can take a while to upload. But I wanted to bring you the news. I tell you, I would bring you straight direct news on here as soon as I found out. And like I say, I got told at the source inside of Franklin, but I did want to wait because I knew if this source has already told me, there's other sources in there that'll be going straight to the news outlets, which has obviously happened. And because it's in the mainstream media, it's on the likes of Sky News, then that was the backup that I needed. That's all that I needed to know and clarify that what I was told was exactly right. Ian Huntley has had the treatment. Now then, people, I'll do a bit interacting with the subscribers now. I have got, maybe he's about another 10, 15 minutes spare. So anyone with any questions or anything, people fire away. I can see there's been a lot of comments here, but I will. So here we go here. So Finn says again, great content, mate. Thank you very much. And Dave Porter says the sun has got his hat on. Hip, 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 hooray. So Machiko says, thanks, Ricky. You made my day. Hope you have a good one too. I've had a brilliant day, and now that I found out about this, even better, because, like I say, this is a case that stuck with me because I was just young at the time as well. And when you hear about these things, this was one of the cases that I first sort of heard about things like this happening to little ones when you're watching the news and stuff, and you're thinking, how the fuck could somebody actually do that? But then afterwards, he's on getting interviewed by the fucking news, and he's standing there like with a sorrowful face on, trying to say that he was helping look for them and he'd never seen them. Horrible, weakling, coward-looking motherfucker. Absolute horrid. But like I say, brings us joy when we hear about stuff like this. Right. Now, this one, I've done a couple of videos on this recently because people all keep sharing stuff on Facebook, which is absolutely untrue. But it's these pages that's got hundreds of thousands of followers, and thousands of people are interacting with it in the comments, believing it. But has Axel Ruta Cabana been attacked yet? He has not been attacked, and I'll bring it straight to you. When he's been attacked, when it happens, which it will, because like I've said about Huntley, it's only a matter of time. Even if it's another 4 or 5 years down the line, I believe it'll be before that, because he'll be going to high security prison in the next few years. So we will see. So Dixie says, nice one, mate. Right, I'll just have another look at some of these comments because there's a lot coming through. Awesome, love your reports. And that is Christine Cooper. And Troublesome says this case was disturbing, like I say. There's a lot of new subscribers. They'll have heard, but they'll not know exactly. But absolutely disturbing case. The caretaker, what he'd done was them two little girls were walking past his house, and he pretended Maxine was in the house to entice them in, got them in, and we don't know, nobody knows exactly what happened to them girls. Why did he get them in the house? He hasn't just murdered them. We don't know exactly what has went on because the bodies were so badly burned. Absolute. I'll stop there. You know what I'm trying to say, but taking them in the house, doing that, murdering them, but whatever he's done beforehand, and then taking the bodies away and burning them. What a fucking absolute wronging. So Edward says, thanks for the update. Best news I've heard all week. And Sue says, how do we send a care package to the lads? Now, what I will say about this, because when I've done videos previously, but I've stated in the video that the person that killed the Bacon, like one of the ones that killed Ian Watkins, was actually a bacon as well. And people were saying, how can we send them some money to put on the canteen and different things? And I've done cases where I've covered where bacons have been badly done inside a prison, and people are saying the same thing. How do we send something into the lads? But it's on a bacon, it's on a nonce wing. So whoever's done it on that wing is also a wrong'un as well. So that's the reason why I'm mentioning that, and I'll put your comment up, because even though you don't know this, Sue, because I'm just telling it now, no one knows who done it yet. When these bacons have been attacked and it's off another bacon, people are still saying, how do we send them money? Don't send them jack shit. Don't send them a fucking thank you card or nothing. The bacons themselves, 2 wrongs have made a right. Because 1 bacon has never getting out of jail again, and 1 bacon is on the way to the morgue. We don't know if that's the case yet with Huntley, but I will keep you updated in the coming hours or days or whenever we hear it. So Alan Best says 2 comments were deleted. Why, mate? Well, they weren't deleted by me. I do have some moderators on, so whatever that was said, me moderators obviously think that, or sometimes it's automatically deleted depending on what is put in them. I haven't got time to read them and delete them as I'm coming on, so it wasn't me. Right. Jason, I despise Huntley, but prison should be safer. So what you're saying is Huntley shouldn't have been attacked inside of prison. Prison can never be a safe place. How can you think prison can be a safer place? There's 100 lads on some wings and about 6 screws. So how can you make that safe? They're understaffed at the moment. They're keeping the lads and lasses banged up because of the understaffing, and it's just making matters worse. But prison shouldn't be safer for bacons. It should be less safe, in my opinion. Then they would think twice about doing it. If they thought, shit, if I do this to this little one, I get sent to jail, what's going to happen? I'm going to get put in with the normal lads and I'm going to get taken care of myself. I better not do it. They're going to think twice, aren't they? So that's what James like. Unfortunately, probably bacon on bacon attack. I'm trying to think of one of the murders I've covered off the top of my head, like the one I've just mentioned there, the one when the fucking beastie got disemboweled inside of Franklin prison. It was off 2 of the bacons as well. So you've obviously just joined, Englishman. I've been covering this. I got an email from a source inside of Franklin telling us about this. I didn't come straight on until I seen something in the mainstream media, because I knew if what I was being told was true, then it's going to hit the mainstream media. So as soon as I seen the first thing coming on, I've jumped on to tell you exactly what I've heard. Right. Where's this one gone? So there we go. James Beeching, thank you very much there. If it was in Wakefield, it could have been normal on bacon, but Franklin Bacon Wing is pretty much all bacon. Yeah, just like I said before, whoever done it is obviously another bacon, or they still get classed as bacons if it's a normal location prisoner being sent onto there for protection. Then that could have been the case. But if it is, and he's been sent down there from the normal location for protection, then he's obviously grasped on the other prisoners. He's been debted up and he's fled down there. But there has been cases where people have put themselves on protection on purpose just to get to them. Obviously, the screws check them and vet them before they get sent down there to see exactly why they want to be put on protection. But I do know of a case where a bacon was inside a prison and an inmate was on normal location. He found out he was in the same prison as the bacon that had done something to his daughter. The prison authorities didn't know that, but he got himself put on protection just so he can get to him, and he gave that bacon the beating of his life for his daughter. He was trying to take his life, but it got intervened. That one did get stopped. So Joseph says, I hope Hunt doesn't make it. We will see. Loads of comments coming through. People say, I will. So Dave Porter says, I met Charlie in the Scrubs in the 80s. Nice guy. I got on with him really well. Yes, he's got a parole hearing coming up. Hopefully he'll get some good news. But because he's a lifer in Long Lartin, category A, it'll be category C at the very most. Yep, that'll point what happened to Stuart Hazel. Surely he's been attacked by now. Not sure on that one, pal. So Anthony says, hi Ricky, I not understand why TV news channel puts this scumbag top story of the day. Put a top story of the day because obviously we've all been waiting for this, and a lot of people will be talking about this, and because he's so high profile and what he done to them two little girls, it deserves to be at the top of the news channels, to be honest. And that's why I quickly jumped on here as well as soon as I seen it, when I found out from my source to reveal that it was actually true. So Lord Vapor says, hi mate, do you think they should bring back the death sentence for crimes against children and murder? Absolutely. I 100% agree that anyone who is 100% certain to have committed these crimes and murders against little ones, as it is in the case of Huntley, and those that plead guilty, and the ones where there's DNA evidence, where it is absolutely 100% them, there's no miscarriage of justice, then yes, they should. I mentioned this on live the other day. They should, first of all, have 2 years of hell inside of prison, in a cell, a dark dungeon where they can't do away with themselves before the death sentence. They shall be kept in there on minimal food, so they look like they've just come from a concentration camp. They should be treated like the way they need to be treated, and then they should be sent for a public execution where everyone, not everyone, but people who want to see it can go along and witness, not everybody, but maybe the family members who want to see this horrid, or these horrid specimens get sent on their way forever. So Solarian says, I noticed that the photo of this monster is always the one where he is looking for caring and worried. How sickening. Yes, the one in the thumbnail, this is the one where he was doing a press conference when they were asking him questions, asking him if he'd seen them, and he looks like an absolute coward, worried, thinking he knew what he'd done, and everyone was coming on afterwards saying you could tell he was guilty, he had something to do with it. Obviously, that's why he got pulled in as well. But that's the reason why I put it on the thumbnail, because look at his face. He's an absolute fucking coward. And when he's in prison, up against men, big stocky men as well, intimidating, even the fucking ones on the bacon wings who train and look intimidating, he is absolutely petrified. That's why he was chumming up with Belfield, because Belfield was a bouncer. He can obviously handle himself. He's stocky, and people will be wary about attacking him because obviously because of his size and because he could probably handle himself, because like I say, he was a bouncer. Bouncers have got to be trained to deal with conflict, and Huntley chummed up with him because he was shitting himself. Right, 2 seconds. Lisa says, according to the Beeb, he wasn't airlifted, went by road, even though the copter was called. Well, because he's high profile, this is what happens because he's category A, high profile, they've got to have helicopter support, even if he's been took in the ambulance by road. But it did say that he was airlifted to hospital. So, yes, they do need helicopter support as well. But if they're going to bring helicopter support, they might as well take him in the helicopter. Look at Ian Watkins. He was pronounced dead on the scene. He bled out. He was dead within 2 minutes. Dead. Confirmed dead by a doctor inside the prison. And they still airlifted him to hospital. What a fucking absolute waste of money, airlifting a fucking sack of shit. Right. Amber says yes. Oh, trouble is Belfield is built like a brick shithouse, like I've just said. And I can see this name popped up. So Nightmare Mel says free Michael Stone. I did see something about this the other day, and I did have a look into it as well. And I might still do the video on this because I was looking at all the evidence, or the lack of evidence, should I say, that convicted him. And there is a lot of people, and there was some articles going around about Belfield saying it was him that done it. And Michael Stone, it is one of those cases as well when you look at it and you can see that there was no evidence, it was circumstantial evidence. You think, was this a solid case? Because his first trial, the 12 jury members couldn't all come to the decision. 10 said guilty, 10 said not guilty. And he had a retrial and the same thing happened. But I will do a more in detail video on that. So if you keep watching, I am going to do a fucking video on Michael Stone and let people have a debate whether or not you think he was guilty or not. So Janie says, I live nearby where that animal did what he did. Will never leave my mind. Yes, exactly. Like I said before, it's one of those cases that sticks in my mind as well because I was young at the time. And hearing about 2 10-year-old girls, it was more worrying. It was worrying when the search was ongoing and nothing was coming of the search, and everybody knew something bad had happened because 2 10-year-old girls don't just go missing, disappearing like that. And what happened to them after he took them into that house was absolutely horrendous. So Luke says, what will happen to Huntley if he survives? Will he go back to the same prison wing? No, he will be sent, or he will go back to the healthcare department where, like I said at the beginning of the video, he was held there for over a decade, or if I remember rightly. The healthcare department is a lot of bacons and a lot of inmates. Some of them are normal location, elderly inmates who are at the end of life, and they're kept in the healthcare department. A lot of them are in wheelchairs. They can't look after themselves. There are a lot of disabilities down there who can't attack anybody else. So that's why Huntley was kept there, because he was safe there. So that is exactly where he will be going back to. He will be going back there for maximum protection. So think of the poor victims, Jessica and Holly. They would probably be married by now and have kids of their own. Huntley deserves no NHS treatment. They should just leave him to snuff it. Exactly, but obviously they can't do that. Obviously, the way the justice system works and the human rights. But it would have been preferential to leave him on a heap, in a heap, where he was, with claret all over. And yep, I agree with you on that one. What justice system law? Exactly, the justice system is absolutely fucked. I've done a video last night on another horrid monster which hasn't had loads of media coverage, and it didn't have loads of media coverage at the time. A Lithuanian man stabbed a 9-year-old girl in the street. He said, obviously he's been diagnosed with schizophrenia, but if you go and have a look at the video I done last night, it hasn't had a lot of media attention. He circled the 9-year-old girl several times at 2 o'clock in the afternoon in July 2022, whilst her mum was inside the shop working, and apparently there were strangers. He didn't know who she was. He circled her several times, went up to her with a knife, plunged it straight through her heart, and killed her instantly. It was absolutely fucking horrific, and people haven't really heard of it. I never heard of it at the time. I covered it, but guess what sentence he got? Life with a minimum of 25 years. People like that should never. He was in his 20s when he done it, so he could be eligible for parole when he's in his 50s, and he could still live another 20 years on the out. That horrid monster should never see the light of day again. An innocent 9-year-old girl playing in the street in the summer had her life taken by someone, and he said he was suffering from schizophrenia. But yet afterwards, he rang his family in Lithuania, asking for money to leave the country, shaved his beard off, got in disguise. Is that someone suffering with mental health? If you realise if you were suffering with mental health and you'd realise what you'd done, would you be trying to flee the country? Would you be fucking going in disguise? No, that wasn't a fucking mental health episode. That was something else. So, where are we at? So David says, send him to Monster Mansion. Plenty of prisoners there would love to meet him. Exactly. Monster Mansion, if anyone doesn't know HMP Wakefield, it used to be 90% S offenders and 10% normal location. They're all mixed in. It is now 60%. So if there's 1,000 in the prison, 600 sex offenders, 400 normal location lads, but they're not normal location wings. All the wings are mixed in together. This is why they're getting attacked so often. There's loads of attacks happening in there. Some of that aren't getting reported, that aren't as bad, where they are getting battered. But because they're not so severe, where there's outside charges or outside court proceedings or anything, they're not really getting reported on as much. I have heard of a few, but I thought there's no point in coming on and talking about a punch, which was a feeble punch, and nothing really come of it. I only come on when the fucking bacons have had the proper justice, and I bring out the bacon basher, the little piggy with the gloves on. Hopefully, we'll be celebrating again soon. All right, I'll have another look at these comments because there's loads flying through. What wonderful news. I hope he is in a crippled state and never gets out of bed again. Not seeing anything confirming. No, well, there's nothing confirming that yet. So we will keep listening, but I will jump straight on here and do another live. Like I said, I didn't have time to come and do a video, then upload it. There wasn't time for that. I had to bring you the good news live on air, people. Justice for Holly and Jessica. Let's all take a moment, people, to think of them two 10-year-old lassies, 10-year-old Holly Wells and Jessica Chapman. But I also done a video talking about what that monster was doing inside of prison as well. He'd made himself a makeshift fucking Manchester United t-shirt with the number 10 on the back, and he was walking around the wing with it on. What an absolute wronging. The staff and that were on about it as well. And his pad got raided looking for that t-shirt because I'd done a video on here. And a lot of the prison staff, the screws, the governors, watch me channel. And when I'm doing stories, obviously, Franklin was my local prison, local to where I'm from. And there's hundreds of staff watching my videos, so you can imagine when I'm covering a video in my local area, and the governors are probably watching this and they'll think, shit, he's talking about my prison, this is getting out. They've went and raided his pad the next morning and took away this shirt. Right. So WTG says, I was the same age as these girls when it happened. I remember it well, and I remember the manhunt for them both. Yes, it was absolutely soul-destroying, and it's soul-destroying knowing that they would have been the same age as you, now living a normal, happy life, probably married with their own kids. But no, that monster took that away from them. So Matty says dying would get him out of serving his sentence, although he's been there a while now. Yes, there's two ways of thinking about it. You're thinking, like, would it be done with if he never went back to prison, he went to the morgue? Or would it be better if he did go back to the prison, which I probably think would be, went back to the prison so he could live in fear and having a little bit of prison justice again? Because like I said, Damien Folks done the same to him, nearly ended his life. He was in a critical condition. Damien got done with attempted murder because that's exactly what it was. He nearly lost his life. So he's never been attacked since then. He's lived in fear. That fear would have disappeared a little bit, but obviously I've done the video when he's asking for extra protection. He's not entitled to extra protection. He's on protection already. But now, if he goes back to prison and he survives this attack, his anxiety is going to be through the roof. He's going to be waiting for the next attack, and another one will come. It will keep happening. So it could be another 10 years, but he will be feeling safe in the hospital wing like he had done. And he's never going to feel safe. So if he did go back, if he does survive, then happy days. Happy days either way, because then he's going to live in fear, waiting for the next one. So, oh, where's this one? Sorry, there's that many coming through. I'm clicking on the wrong one. So, Jay, I saw his helicopter ride to the RVI. There is people that have these apps on the phones where it documents the helicopter, where it went from, the helicopter rides. A lot of people watch them for the police helicopters to see where they're at. And obviously this one, they would have seen the ride going from Franklin to the RVI. So I believe the RVI is the only hospital in the northeast that has a landing pad. I might be wrong, but I believe it is. Obviously, the RVI is the biggest hospital in the northeast, which deals with cases like this and life-threatening injuries. So Amber says, didn't Huntley also get done with hot water and sugar? There was some fake news going about not so long back. I also covered that because someone was saying that he got blinded. He had an obnoxious substance chucked in his face on the exercise yard, which has partially blinded him or did blind him. I came on, done the video, I'm saying there's nothing in prison that the prisoners can get their hands on that would blind them, apart from hot oil or hot water and sugar if it went in his eyes. But the bit where they slipped up was when they said it had happened on the exercise yard. If you had hot oil in a pan or hot sugar and water, for starters, you wouldn't get off the wing because the screws pat you down before you go onto the exercise yard. And secondly, even if they did get onto the exercise yard with the obnoxious substance like oil, it would have cooled down by the time you've went from the kitchens onto the cold exercise yard. Right, got another few minutes, people. Any more questions? Fire away. So Jamie has obviously just joined. It says, did he get stabbed up or something? So the report and what I got coming in before it was even on the mainstream media, I got an email from a source inside of Franklin saying that he'd been sliced and stabbed and he was in a critical condition and airlifted to a hospital. Obviously, like I say, when you get airlifted, then it's obviously very serious. Might not be critical because critical does mean exactly what it is, that his life is nearly over. But we'll see exactly in the coming days. Like I say, I've just got told that he'd been sliced and stabbed and he was bleeding out really badly. So I will wait for more news coming in from this source as well. So a broken up CD can be used as a weapon. So anything, but not anything, but a lot of things can be used as weapons inside a prison. When I was in prison, believe it or not, you used to have proper mugs, cups. You used to have the proper plates, like a normal fucking porcelain plate. An everyday dinner plate, which was, if you smash that in half, you've got a big jagged edge. It's like a big fucking knife. They also had chili bottles. They also had coffee jars, but the more attacks that were happening, they ruled them out. They decided to get rid of them all. And then they just had plastic, they just had plastic jars after that. Encona hot pepper sauce. Those were long, thin glass jars. They were absolute weapons inside a prison because it would sellotape the bottle up right up until the neck of the lid, smash the neck so the rest of the bottle didn't smash, and that was held in your hand and used to attack people in the neck. And so was the coffee jars are witnessing an attack inside of there. When Paul Sykes' son Sharpie got stabbed in the neck with a coffee jar full of chili powder, the coffee jar had been smashed to its jagged edge, filled up with chili powder. The lad went up behind Sharpie. I've seen exactly what happened, rammed it in his neck. The chili powder went in the cut. The lad went bowling off down the wing. Sharpie did actually go running after him, blood pouring out of his neck profusely. Right, what's this one? Red today was knocked out with metal pole and found in pool of blood. So there will not be any metal poles. The only poles or anything like that inside a prison is the pool cues. Obviously they're wooden, but there isn't any metal poles that they would get their hands on inside of Frankland. Unless it was in the workshops like Damien Bendall smashed another bacon with a hammer. Andrew Weisenberger, thank you very much. Super sticker. What an absolute gem. Where would they get a metal pole in prison? It's more likely he was slashed with a shank. So yes, obviously when they outlawed all of those inside the prison, the coffee jars, the chili jars, things like that, the plates, the cups, then like, what was he called? I can't remember his name. And he got done in HMP Belmarsh, who murdered his daughter. I can't think off the top of my head. If anyone remembers, tell us in the comments. The Muslim fella that killed his daughter, his 2-year-old daughter, he was done with a tuna can in Belmarsh. So they still do have the tuna cans or different cans. But if you imagine, you take the can lid off, double it over, and use that for a slicing tool. So one fan says, I love your accent. Thank you very much. And Dixie fella says, come on, guys, and press the like button for Ricky. That would be very much appreciated. There is actually 1,300 people watching me live right now. I'm not sure how many likes there is, but the more likes there is, the more it boosts the algorithm and the more that this will be shown once I end the live. Because as soon as you end the live, it is uploaded automatically. That's why I've done the live, because it's a lot easier. Yeah, let me see someone saying about Mark Bridger. Sorry, it's that Thailand accent. It's a fucking Thai Geordie accent. Where's this one I've just seen about? Oh, here. Mark Bridger next. I've done a story on this one a few weeks back as well. Mark Bridger had been attacked inside of HMP Wakefield. Unfortunately, the person that done it didn't do a very good fucking job. I didn't get the fucking piggy out for that, the bacon basher. But Mark Bridger killed 5-year-old April Jones, another absolute fucking wrong'un who will get proper prison justice. He will be one of the next ones. Like I say, he has just been attacked, but it wasn't very severe. It didn't even need hospital treatment. It was in front of the screws, so immediately the screws jumped in. So it was an absolute waste of time. We could have done a proper fucking job. Right. Flip back down these comments. So Paul says, yes, more thumbs up. Like I say, there's 1,300 people. I'm not sure exactly how many likes. If you are enjoying the content, people, hit away on that like. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, do hit that subscribe button. It is absolutely free to join, or free to subscribe, rather. And what else was I going to say there? Yes, hit the notification bell so you don't miss another video. I've got 126,000 followers on here. Some of the videos I upload might be the time of day with the algorithm. Like the one yesterday had 4,000 views and mustn't be getting hit across everyone's platform, everyone's phones or laptops or whatever. But if you hit the notification bell, it pops up every video I do. And most of these videos that I do are worth watching, people, because it's very educational and it's very enjoyable when it's ones like this. Right. Bobby says, don't watch mainstream media. They are full of shit. These are the channels you watch for the truth of what's happening. Yes, and every time I come on, it's verified. I won't come on and do a video because someone from inside the prisons who's got a phone, been watching my channel, he sent us a fucking message on Instagram telling us that someone had been attacked in his prison really badly, some other fucking bacon or whatever. But I thought, is this true? I'll wait till I see if anything comes on. It mustn't have been, because nothing came on the mainstream news, which it would have if the attack was bad like he was saying it was. And that's why I've got to be careful listening to different people, because you don't want to come on and do a video about someone being attacked and then for it not to be fucking verified or for it not to be true. Because if I come on and do a video about someone who's just been murdered and then nothing pops up about a murder inside a prison, doesn't look good, does it? So Paul says, why is he not in isolation? Isolation would mean he's down the segregation unit, which is a punishment. He's on protection, where he's isolated from the normal location lads, so they can't get to him. So there's fucking thousands and thousands and thousands of high-profile bacons, child fucking murderers inside a prison. They all get housed together, but it doesn't mean that they're safe and they are fucking protected 24/7. So Joseph says, we used to call them beasts. Yes, they get called beasts. Bacons, prison slang for bacon. If anyone's just joining, anyone's new, bacon is bacon bonds, rhymes with nonce. And when you're in prison and you say, hey, the fucking bacon, or someone who's on the wing who they find out might be one, say, hey, the bacon him. And as soon as someone's labelled a bacon, they are getting it, or they are getting put straight on protection if they find out people know what they're in for. Right, people, it's been on for 53 minutes there. Now I'm going to wrap it up, even though there's still 1,300 people watching live at the moment. Hit away on the likes, people. And if there is any more questions, quickly pop them up now, and I will. Oh, here's a new member. Tracy, thank you very much, has become a member of the channel. So where are we at here? Someone else is saying, it says he was attacked with an iron bar in the workshop. So whereabouts is these reports coming in? Is this obviously on the news? An iron bar in the workshop. I would highly doubt he's actually in a workshop where there is tools like this of the sort, especially after Damien Bendall attacked another bacon with a hammer. Damien Bendall in prison for 4 murders using a claw hammer on 3 kids and his pregnant partner. Killed all of them. Yet he was allowed to take a hammer out in the workshop and try to kill a fellow bacon. So just heard it on the radio, stopped my car and jumped around like a madman, get the fuck in, and then you've come straight on here to see what I've said about it. You've heard it on the radio and went on to Ricky's show to see if it's fucking true. So yeah, on many sites, critical condition, 28 minutes ago, I believe I said. Oh, critical condition still. So I will keep you updated. Yeah, updated, sorry. Right, one more people, then I'm going to wrap this one up. So came straight to Ricky before I went anywhere else to verify this. Nice one, Jay. You will hear it firsthand right here on Behind the Bars TV, aka the Bacon Basher Show. But I'm going to leave that one there for now, people. Thank you very much for tuning in. We've been on for nearly an hour now. I'm going to be doing more of these lives. I done one the other day, but obviously out here in Thailand, I'm 7 hours ahead. And I need to get, obviously, when I'm putting a live on at 4 o'clock in the afternoon here, it's obviously like 9 o'clock in the morning there. But like I've said, if you don't join the live, you can watch it later on and see what has been said, because sometimes in the live stream, like I've done on this one, when you see the title of it, like obviously this one, Huntley's being attacked and he's critical, we do also talk about other not other subjects, but other matters within the prison. And yes, other subjects, other bacons, other different things like we did do earlier on when we're talking about that Axel Ruda Cabana, fucking Levi Belfield, all the absolute wrong-uns, and anything else that pops up that is headlines, we also come on and discuss that. So take care, people. Couldn't get that out there. Take care, people. Enjoy the rest of your day. It is now nearly, well, it's 9:15 here, so it'll only be, 2:45 back in the UK. But there is a lot of people watching around the world as well. I've got viewers in Australia, America, a lot of European countries. But yes, as I was saying, people, take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. But like I say, at the end of all my videos, most importantly, stay safe, people. Watch what you're doing. And especially in the UK at the moment, stay safe and watch what you're doing and watch your fucking backs, people.